All right. Welcome back. We are back in the house. Hope y'all doing well on this fine Friday. I hope you are happy, in a good mood, because I feel good. I feel good the more I figure out this nutter culture. And I really feel like we are making history. We're making history. If for nothing else, for being different and being bold about being different, and it being impossible to shame us about being different. You know, a lot of other things, philosophies, ideologies that people co-sign with, they make themselves vulnerable to criticism. And that's a big reason why they never co-sign with this or with that. They see there's too many opportunities for critics to criticize them, embarrass them. But see, with us, that's not even possible. You cannot, under no circumstances, try to shame an anti-dog person. It's in your best interest to stay away from us. Avoid debates, discussions about dogs, and don't ever try to justify the presence of large dogs in society, especially not bully breeds, because we have the most ammunition to dump on bully breeds. Ammunition here being a word for information, knowledge, right? What do they call that? An abstraction, metaphor. How y'all doing today? We're going to deal with a very serious and interesting topic. I want to deal with the nastiness of this dog culture, the nastiness of dogs, and the narcissism of dog owners. And like I said for a while, I believe these people feed into the mental illness that people have. The dog culture strengthens their mental illness, in my opinion. And I want to start off with a video that I shared in the community section. How many of y'all seen that? In the community section, I posted a series of posts. Okay, just go to my homepage, click community, scroll down. I almost forgot I shared this earlier. You know, it's a very strange story. A dog stepped on a shotgun. The shotgun was on the floor inside of a vehicle. And a dog in the back seat steps on the shotgun and kills this man. This man was out hunting. He was out hunting. He was out killing natural animals, harmless animals, for fun. And he got shot by his own dog. Is it karma? Decide for yourself. But this is the video that I'm talking about. This video infuriated me. And I don't know what this is, people. If there's ever been a time that I've needed help explaining something, it is here. Now, her channel is called Service Dog Paws. This video has over 9 million views. And I'm very happy about that. Because especially young people, when you see people like this in public, don't assume that the dog owner is nice or polite. I talked about this in the members area, and I've been thinking about this all day. It disappointed me that much. Now listen to this woman. She claims to be in need of a service dog, which I don't believe. Like I said, service dogs, it's only a loophole for extreme nutters who want to bring dogs everywhere they go so they can draw attention to themselves. It is just a form of narcissism. It enables them to feed into their narcissism. Now this looks like a Walmart. And what does this nutter do? She comes in with the dog and sits at the service counter. The one place where she knows there'll be a lot of people. I don't believe she's being serviced or helped or nothing. I don't know what she's doing up in here, other than desperately seeking attention. But listen to this. I can hardly even explain this, man. Listen to this. Now you see her caption. She said this lady and the lady who comes behind her. And she's pointing at this lady right here. Now I want you to look closely at this lady. This one woman in the pink. Notice how she points over at the dog. She's looking at the dog. And then she points over there towards the dog. Now, how would this woman even know that if she wasn't sitting there staring at everybody like a flipping lunatic? All up in everybody's business, trying to see who's looking at her. Oh, let me see who's giving me some attention. And why does she want attention? Check this out. So this woman she's calling her child's attention to the dog. She said, hey, look, there's a doggy.
Can you please not teach your kids to look at them, but rather ignore them, if you don't mind? Because I'm not feeling good, and when your kids start talking to him and he misses an alert and I pass out on the floor, that kind of sucks. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great day.
Did you hear that flippin' narcissistic lunatic nutter? Are you kidding me? Look, it's a puppy. They stop in front of me over here on the side just to tell the kids to look at the puppy. This woman actually copped an attitude simply because they said, look, there's a puppy. Did y'all hear what she said?
Ignore them.
Look, listen to this.
Can you please not teach your kids to look at them, but...
She said, could you teach your kids not to look at this dog? Well, this woman right here with this dog, she is exactly the type of person who you would see getting beaten up by some random person because she started to fly off at the mouth like she did right here. I got family members who would have gladly laid hands on her as soon as she came out of her face with that type of attitude. And I'm dead serious. I got family members who really don't play. Boy, there's a certain level of respect and disrespect. And this woman completely crossed the line. And you can feel that burning hatred she has for children. Oh, look at that evil, disgusting kid looking at my dog. And had the nerve to tell the mother, could you please teach your kids not to look at dogs? Woman, are you out of your mind? Man, I wish she would have said that to some people I know. Boy, oh boy, there would have been problems.
Can you please not teach your...
And they didn't even say nothing to her. She's just off to the side saying, look, puppy. Didn't say nothing to this woman.
Can you please not teach your kids to look at them, but rather ignore them, if you don't mind? Because I'm not feeling good, and when your kids start talking to him and he misses an...
You lunatic woman. People can look at whatever they want to look at. Are you out of your mind? Who do you think you are? This woman thinks she can tell people to teach their kids not to look at her dog. Wow. Boy, I had to pause when I first watched this to take this in.
Please not teach your kids to look at them, but rather ignore them, if you don't mind, because I'm not feeling good, and when your kids start talking to him and he misses an alert and I pass out on the floor, that kind of sucks. Thank you.
You understand what she just said? Tell your kids to ignore the dog. Because when your kids talk to the dog, you distract the dog. And when the dog is distracted, it can't see that I'm having an episode. I'm not feeling well. I might faint. And the dog will not see me faint because it's distracted by your wicked child talking to it. Did you hear these people off to the side when they were saying puppy?
Thank you.
Listen.
Can you please not...
The decibel at which they said puppy was really no louder than any of the other sounds that you hear. And if a dog's hearing is so many times more sensitive than ours, then all of these sounds sound the same. And this dumb, brainless mutt is distracted by everything. Everything. This was just an opportunity for a narcissist to feel like she had the authority to execute some type of power and control over others. That's what I got out of it.
Teach your kids to look at them, but rather ignore them, if you don't mind, because I'm not feeling good, and when your kids start talking to him and he misses an alert and I pass out on the floor, that kind of sucks. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great day.
People, this is where I need help. What is wrong? What is this woman's problem? What is this woman's problem? Is this just a narcissist? Or is she sounds like, very desperate for attention, but she sounds like a flipping lunatic. This sounds like a person who would probably kill someone. Unbelievable, the arrogance. Now, that's not the end of it. That's not the end of it. Do y'all know that this nutter, and keep in mind she's recording, brought a dog into Walmart, then she wanted to turn on her camera to record all the attention she's getting. But this obviously wasn't enough attention for her. Do y'all know that this nutter laid down in the middle of Walmart just like this? Now, this is what she has a service dog for. I'm having an episode. I have a service dog. I need to lay down in the middle of the floor. Again, I can't explain this. I cannot explain this. What is this woman's problem? So she's clearly not waiting in line. So what on earth is she doing? I tell you what she would be doing. If I was the manager, she would be getting up out of that Walmart. What if somebody wants to sit here? You come back here and some lunatic nutter laying on the floor with a mutt. People. Oh my goodness. This is too much. This is too much. Now, kids, would you want to talk to a person like this? And again, this, to me, is zoophilia. Notice how these people with these service dogs, they never interact with the dog as if it just serves a purpose. It's always this extreme intimacy, as if they are dealing with a lover. It's always, oh, let's get close, kiss. I've shown videos where some of them start kissing on these so-called service dogs. No, this is just a loophole for extreme nutters who want to make out with dogs in public, who want to be physically intimate with dogs in public. Now, they're free to call it what they want. I call this intimacy. This is intimacy only reserved for lovers, lovers, lovers. Because if she had a husband and her husband caught her with a man, laid on her, cuddled up with her the way this dog is, her husband would assume that she was having an affair, that she was cheating on him. You imagine you come home and your wife laid up with a man the same way she's laid up with this dog? This is intimacy. And it is nasty. I can't even explain how disgusting this is. And it's mind-boggling. Like I said, I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. Now, this lady, she has a YouTube channel. And I've been talking for a while about how fake these service dogs are. And you're about to see exactly how fake they are. Now, just indulge me here. Grab some popcorn. I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm not even going to play half. But I want you to understand what you're looking at. And I want you to hear this woman.
Already trained for certain anxiety. Maya is already trained for certain anxiety responses. I scratch my arm really bad. She knows how to interrupt that.
You see what I mean? Their service dog is always positioned like a lover, like a partner.
Hyperventilating, shaking, things like that. She knows how to respond and interrupt those behaviors. Well, since she is like...
So she claims to have this mutt to interrupt her anxiety. Her anxiety disorders. I scratch myself. I need a dog to stop me from scratching myself. Isn't that obsessive compulsive disorder? I don't know. I'm not a medical person. Okay, just want y'all to understand.
She knows how to respond and interrupt those behaviors. Well, since she is like so good at those, I've noticed in the past couple of months that she has been doing such a good job that I am no longer doing certain behaviors as much, and during anxiety I have started doing something different that I never really realized. It's been something more recent that I've noticed has gotten to the point where I'm making myself bald. And so
okay, she's babbling. She's taking forever to get to a point. What she's trying to say is that she scratches her head now. She's saying that she has developed a new anxiety disorder. And that is, I scratch my head. I'm not kidding. Listen to this.
Basically, what I'm starting to do, I know, and I feel like crap today, so might be hard to see, but I've started picking at my head. And so we can see a couple of the sores. There's definitely more. And if you compare one side, which I've just dyed my hair, but if you compare one side where my hairline is.
Oh, Lord. Now, something else I want y'all to notice. Notice how the dog is trying to get some food. Notice how the dog constantly jumping at her hand. Every time she moves her hand, it's just locked in on her hands. Okay?
Notice it's gotten to the point where I'm making myself bald. And so basically,
do you understand this thing is only after food? It's just basically begging for food right now. Look at how it's focusing on her hand. Watch this.
Starting to do, I know, and I feel like crap today, so might be hard to see, but
the dog has realized it's not getting food, so it leaves.
I've started picking at my head, and so we can see a couple of the sores. There's definitely more, and if you compare one side, which I've just dyed my hair, but if you compare one side where my hairline is to the other side, you can see where I'm just constantly picking here now. I don't know exactly why I've moved to that, but I have. And so it's at the point where it is technically another type of self-harm, so it's just like scratching my arm. But when Maya sees me,
oh Lord,
scratch my arm, she catches it really quick, and she's really good at doing it.
Well, what if your mutt is not looking at you? Like now. She up there talking about a kid distracting her dog. What if your dog is distracted by something else and it's not looking at you? I'm just asking a question.
The issue is that I've started a different behavior. And so
see, I have an additional anxiety disorder. I scratched this area of my head. So it's time to train the dog to respond when it sees me scratching my head. Think about that. She comes up with a new problem of self-harm. And then say, okay, let me train the dog to look for that too.
It's at the point where I'm not realizing I'm doing it until like I'm already doing it, or like I've been doing it for a minute. And the amount of sores I've had.
Okay, I don't want to. People, what is the problem here? What's the problem here? What is going on here? What's going on? Now I want y'all to watch this. I made a video, I think a couple years ago. I think it's around 2 years ago, where I really got into this for the first time, where I was talking about how these service dogs, it's all about food with them. They don't care. And that it was very pathetic how obsessed they are with food, to the point where you can get them to do almost anything for food. Now look at this.
I'm getting her.
She's using a clicker. Now, I don't get too deep into this mutt nuttery, but if I'm not mistaken, you use that clicker right before or after you give the dog a reward, to where the dog accepts the click as a reward in some cases. The reward obviously being food. So she's feeding it and clicking it to get the dog used to food with the click, so that it will view the click as a reward or respond to the click as if it was already rewarded. I could be wrong about that. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Ready? She knows what the clicker is.
I know I'm butchering this information up. If anybody knows and I screw up, please correct me in the chat room comment section of this video. Thank you very much.
And I do not plan on this being a long session. I don't know exactly how long she's going to pick up on this or how quick.
Okay, now you hear her. So she's going to teach this dog from scratch how to detect her scratching her head.
I'm already like, okay, touch. I'm just going to ignore her pause. Touch. Touch. I missed a click. Touch. And I'm just ignoring the pawing. She'll stop doing it. Touch. 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 There we go.
Okay? So it's food, feed it. And of course, the dumb, brainless, dumb, worthless mutt will never stop eating. That won't stop. Look at this. Whoa. Wait a minute. I want y'all to hear this.
Okay. I got doggy slobber all over me.
She said, I got doggy slobber all over me. That's why she kept wiping her hand on her knee. Y'all know she wiped her hand on her knee like every single time that dog licked or nudged her hand, because it's splashing saliva everywhere. Nasty mutt. Her leg, her pants is full of dog hair and dog spit. And as we all know, saliva is extremely toxic. We're going to get into it more on this, but this stuff is unbelievably toxic. Dog saliva. She got it all over her body. These are people who make your hamburgers. Be in the back. You think they wash their hands? They don't care. They don't care about themselves. They're not going to, I'm preparing food. Let me wash my hands for these great customers. No. But I digress. I just thought that was nasty. Wiping dog spit all in her pants.
Touch. Okay. I got doggy slobber all over me.
Now look.
Touch. Touch.
You see how she's doing that? Exactly what I argued a couple years ago. And it's not something that I discovered. It's something that I was informed of. I found the information on several articles, and I shared the articles with all of you. They do this over and over until the dog understands that when it sees her scratching her head, it can get something to eat if it just, interrupts her, pounces on her, nudges her. They do this over and over until the dog associates this action with eating, which is very pathetic. That is pathetic. And I just don't even understand how people are not turned off by something like this. I don't respect anything that's that obsessed with anything. Most obsessions are not good for you. I mean, this is not genuine concern for you. One thing this mutt cares about is food. It just, to me, feels like, I would have to be a very lowly person who really didn't think highly of myself at all, where I didn't even view myself as a human being, which is my argument, always has been my argument, that you have to stoop down to the level of a dog to have them living in your house, you cuddling up with them, talking, and the type of relationship they have with dogs. You have to lower yourself to a dog level. And I've shown where dog lovers themselves have had discussions about this, where they're telling other dog lovers that you need to stoop down to the level of a dog. Don't try to humanize the dog. Instead, bring yourself down to the level of a dog. They have said this to each other. You can easily find this on the internet. So the Nuttery is real, people. The Nuttery is so real. Now, as far as this video, you tell me, because I truly don't understand. I mean, she could display several signs of having mental illness or maybe an addiction or whatever. I'm telling you now, I wouldn't be able to pick up on it because there's a lot about all that stuff that I'm just not educated on. If any of you are, please enlighten us as best you can. But this is next level narcissism in my eyes, where clearly this dog is nothing but a way for her to get attention and to make a spectacle out of herself everywhere she goes. And this is so annoying. And there are a lot of people in the world like this who just want to make a spectacle of themselves just for attention. I used to do that back in, I remember clearly, in the 5th grade as a child. I was the class clown. I made everybody laugh. I always did the crazy stuff. And after a while of making a spectacle of myself, I realized how lame and corny it was, and how it was really a way for me to mask my insecurities. It was my overcompensation, trying to make up for my own sense of insecurity. And I realized I needed to develop genuine confidence. When you have genuine confidence, attention does nothing for you. You go through life understanding that you are no different from anyone else. Unbelievable. Now, I don't even want to share this video, but it's only proper. But this woman's channel is called Service Dog paws. Service dog paws. She also made a video. Look at this. Distracting a service dog is a felony.
Like,
like what she was doing in Walmart. And now this is the scary part. Where their kids, and I don't know whose kids they are. I assume they're hers. I assume these are her kids. But she says distracting a service dog is a felony. Everything distracts dogs, service or not. Everything distracts them. But I thought it was scary that this woman could possibly be a mother. I hope she's not. I hope she has a job as a babysitter and that she's babysitting. Okay? But that's probably not the case. Why do I say that? Y'all have heard me say that this is child abuse. This nuttery is child abuse. When you're a parent, this is neglect. That's irrefutable. This is neglect. It's a form of neglect. This is her Instagram. Okay, you saw those kids. Now look at this. Look at her Instagram. And there's a cat. So this is her children competing with the dog for attention. Now, as far as I know, she doesn't have an Instagram for her cats. Just the dog. And I've noticed this type of hierarchy with people who own both cats and dogs. The cat is like the main pet, the chief pet, and the cat is like a side dish. But you look at this Instagram and you ask the question, who do you think she's happier to see? The dog or her kids? Look at the floor here. Look at this. Really? Who do you think she's more obsessed with? The dogs or her kid? This is the neglect. Kids shouldn't have to grow up even wondering if you appreciate the dog in their life more than them. They shouldn't have to grow up wondering whether you are as happy being with them, interacting with them. Are you as happy interacting with them as you are with the dog? And it gets really bad when mommy or daddy acts grumpy, is mean when the dog's not around, but the child is. And then magically they turn into this happy, chippery person when the dog's around. That's abuse. That is neglect. And then some kids, they see this. When the dog's not around, mom is grumpy. Dad's grumpy. They don't talk to me that much. They don't interact with me that much when the dog is not around. But when the dog is around, now it's okay to talk to me. Now they want to interact with their kids because it has something to do with the dog. They can connect you somehow with the dog's presence. So since they're chippery over the dog, it spills over a little bit to their kids. So then kids grow up feeling like they are no more important than a dog. Mental illness at the highest level. Now, people, this is going to be a disturbing live stream. It's going to be disturbing. Fair warning. Big shout out to Wandering Jules in the super chat. He said, and thank you, ladies, for not buying this crazy dog epidemic. Most definitely. I find most females have a weakness for dogs over men. And also thanks for the women who don't have kids and didn't substitute that need to nature with dogs. Most definitely. Yeah, let's thank them, everyone out there who does not buy into this nonsense. You are very much appreciated. And like I said, I believe there should be institutions, apartment complexes, and several other things built for us, built for you. We deserve our own everything. A dog-free everything. You know, because if dogs are allowed everywhere, that's unfair. You're only catering to dog lovers. And that's really a shame when you know we have even a medical term for it, cynophobia. Okay, what about the cynophobes? You don't want to protect them? You don't want to reach out for them? No, that's unconstitutional. Can't be doing that. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Jonathan Payne in the super chat. Big shout out to everybody up in here. We got a lot of people. And I'm telling you, this is about to get real disturbing. It's already been disturbing, but it's about to get worse. Just a heads up, people. This is hard to deal with. Shout out to everybody up in the house. Now, I've long said that dogs are the most toxic creatures on this planet. In the members area, I shared this Reddit post. It was yesterday. Now, we all know about capnocytophaga, how you can get dog saliva on you and it'll cause sepsis and you'll need your limbs amputated. And if not, it'll kill you. Your limbs turn black and they just rot away. This is all from a dog's saliva. We've not gotten a report about a human being contracting capnocytophaga from any other animal other than a dog. Their saliva is extremely toxic. Now you see what this says. A small dog bite I got turned into a crazy infection. Now this was the dog bite shortly after he was bitten. And this is what it developed into. Now, this is crazy, people. The dog bite is up here between his fingers. And he had looks like a boil or something, like a massive blister that formed on like the top of his hand, back of his hand. What is that? Do y'all know this guy? He's on here asking people, what is this? What happened? Look at that. It's the same hand. And as you can see, all of his fingers are swollen. He had to take his wedding ring off. Isn't that a wedding ring? I'm sorry, I'm not married. Obviously, I don't know. Looks like his left hand. Fingers swole up, had to take his ring off, had to cut that open, obviously, and had to drain it from one bite. This is what dog saliva does to you? We've talked about this before. A dog bite, the bite itself is not what kills people. It's not what destroys. It's the saliva. Now, with that in mind, I want y'all to look at this. Well, not that. Where is that? This right here.
These days, many of us flinch whenever we hear someone cough or sneeze. COVID-19 has most people on high alert. Now, new research helps reveal the risks we might face from a simple chat with an infected person.
When you ask what is speech, it's these individual sounds that you're making, all which add up if you're continually speaking. And in that sense, it's a packet of puffs or puff packets.
He said that speaking is a packet of puffs. All right? Let me put the captions on in case I mess something up here.
A packet of puffs.
Yeah, a packet of puffs.
Or puff packet.
Or puff packets.
Inside Science.
The interesting thing, or at least one interesting thing, is you don't often realize how much of the air you disturb around you.
Howard Stone studies fluid mechanics, which is the study of how fluids or gases behave in certain conditions. Understanding how the virus spreads is crucial to managing the pandemic.
Okay, now we all know that. We all know about how this thing spreads. Okay, and that kind of stuff. But what I want to show you is this. Is it this? Look at this.
Using a high-speed camera, researchers filmed the movement of tiny droplets from a person speaking different phrases.
Every time droplets come out of your mouth, you would see a little speckle.
They found that phrases that use sounds with a P or B make and scatter droplets at a greater rate than other phrases.
Obviously, you say something with the letter P, that distributes more droplets, aerosol droplets into the air. They use these infrared things, and it is crazy how much we disturb the air in the room around us. It's crazy how much moisture comes out of our mouths simply when we talk.
Now, if you say that Peter Piper picked a peck, which we did, and you say that a few times, after 20 seconds of speaking, all the exhalations that have been created have easily propagated 2 meters, if not more.
Look at that. That's the actual infrared.
In 20 to 30 seconds of speaking. In this case, I think he's saying, sing a song of sixpence. Again, the upper image is what we see with a camera that's looking at the laser sheet. And then the big end of the sentence, the sing a song, you don't see much. The end of the sentence, pence, you see this big vortex come flying out. Our images suggest that, although you don't realize it, a large part of what you exhale is
a large part of what you exhale
appearing at the head of the other person.
Is appearing at the head of the other person.
So it's what they inhale.
So it's what they inhale. So basically, when you talk to people, you're inhaling each other's vapors, each other's saliva, right? You're just swallowing it, taking it all in. Very nasty. That's why we wear masks, to stop that moisture from coming out of our mouth. It's serious stuff.
A recent study by the National Institutes of Health showed that small saliva droplets generated by loud speech can remain airborne in an enclosed space for more than 10 minutes at a time.
Oh. Small saliva droplets generated by loud speech can be airborne for more than 10 minutes.
In the video shown here, a scientist from the NIH's National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases speaks into an environment of stagnant air, repeating the phrase,
"Stay healthy."
The laser light scattering shows thousands of minuscule saliva droplets that could contain virus particles. A fan was used to ensure the droplets were distributed evenly inside the space and was shut off 10 seconds after the talking stopped. These droplets remained airborne after talking. They stayed in the window of view, on average, for about 12 minutes. Get the latest public health information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention at coronavirus.gov.
Now this is a human being. This is a human being. Humans, we let out all of this moisture. Yeah? But look at the size of our mouths.
The largest surge in the number of novel coronavirus infections since the start of the pandemic.
Look at this.
The high radiation that are not visible to the camera was fitted
Oh
with a
boy.
filter
I'm
that
sorry.
specifically targets the infrared
I'm sorry if the volume's all jacked up. Look at this.
radiation that are not visible to the naked eye. The camera was fitted with a filter that specifically targets the infrared signature of carbon dioxide, the gas we exhale. The carbon dioxide is then used to map the partial path of these nearly invisible airborne particles, including droplets that travel within our exhaled breath in real time. A highly sensitive digital filter is applied here to emphasize airflows. A virus, when airborne, will move with the airflow shown by the...
Oh boy. Oh boy. So, people, don't you think it's against the law, unethical, unconstitutional to bring therapy dogs into enclosed spaces, libraries, classrooms, hospitals? They don't put masks on dogs, and masks don't prevent this crap from going airborne. But no, you're in a room with something like this. What do you think is happening?
The loudest breathing dog in the world. Rosie, Rosie.
If humans release all this moisture and all these droplets, how much do you think dogs are releasing? A good 2 to 3, 4 times more than us. They seem to have a never-ending supply of saliva, and their saliva glands seem to just produce more saliva in general. And these things are breathing loud, constantly breathing with their mouth open. What do you think this is doing to the environment? And how many droplets? How much moisture? How much dog mist is going into the air?
Rosie, Rosie.
That is so disgusting. Now, this is a problem, people. If it's possible to inhale droplets, aerosol, saliva from a dog, don't you think that's crucial if that saliva is extremely toxic? If saliva does our body like this, when we're bitten by a dog and it's a gaping wound, an open wound, we see what dog saliva does to our tissue. Don't you think it's doing something to our lungs? Not just our lungs. What goes in our lungs doesn't it make it to our blood as well? Don't you think our immune system would rather not have to deal with that? I mean, look at how toxic dog saliva is when it gets on your body. And you force people to inhale it into their lungs, not just people. You're going around the country forcing children, primarily. You dog nutter organizations with these therapy mutts, you focus on children. And you go in there and you force them to inhale this toxic saliva, droplet. These mutts, every single one of them, breathe heavily and release that toxic mist into the atmosphere. Nobody can tell me that there's not anything wrong with that. That's a huge violation, a huge health violation. And again, dogs never wear masks, and those masks don't work. They did one of those infrared things with the mask on, and all it does is redirect the saliva, the mist that goes into the air. It redirects it, but it still gets into the air. So I'm tired of people, and again, imagine these people have saliva everywhere in their home. They tell you that there's saliva present all over a dog's body, on its dander. When dogs shake, dog owners tell you that they literally splash saliva all over the place. You don't want anything that toxic to saturate your home. Yeah, you want to try to shame us for not wanting to be around something like that? Are you really? You don't want to have that discussion. Understand, people, nobody can shame you for not wanting to be around these things. Nobody. And if they really want to have a discussion, they are going to have a very hard time trying to make sense out of wanting to keep company with one of these things. Good luck with that. But people, we have to be very careful. This is why I don't touch nothing that's used by the general public. Nothing. The way their parasites are still alive in soil over a year. Their urine kills plant life, and it's only dog urine that kills plant life. Look at how much more toxic everything about dogs is. Even their excrement is more toxic than the excrement from anything else on this planet. Urine as well. Saliva as well. Even their sound. Barking is not only louder, it's annoying. It's troubling. It's disturbing. It can drive you crazy. It is not a pleasant sound. On the other hand, some people are soothed by the sound of a cat's purr and of the sounds birds chirping. Therapeutic for a lot of people. It's only the sound that comes from a dog that's unbearable. People literally hate that sound. Nobody hates the sound of birds chirping, of a cat purring, meowing, of a duck quacking. It is so therapeutic when you hear natural animals early in the morning. Nothing disturbing about it whatsoever. But with dogs, it's extremely disturbing. Everything about dogs is extreme in a negative way. They all stink and have the same stench. And they're the only creatures with a natural smell that's unbearable, that actually flat out stinks like that. All the shedding without any way to control the shedding, like, say, what cats have. Their tongues control a great portion of their dander, of their loose hair. They lick, then cough up a hairball. Whereas the mutt, the stuff just scatters everywhere, non-stop. Along with its saliva and its spit and its stench, nasty, disgusting. It should be illegal to bring these things into classrooms. I don't care who your students are, but especially if this full of kids, should be illegal, most definitely, to bring these things into hospital. Are you out of your mind? People, bringing these things into hospitals as therapy dog or service dogs, that is on the clock. That's not going to last. That's like over the top nuttery, especially when you keep in mind how toxic and dangerous this is. What are you doctors, what are you hospitals doing? They're letting their nuttery override their profession, which they've sworn to. Some of them taking a Hippocratic oath. And you want to contaminate the environment that's supposed to be sterile? They're not wiping these mutts either. They're just bringing them in there. They're bringing their filth, turning hospitals into doghouses. But it's important to be aware of how toxic and dangerous these things are. No amount of information is too much information when it comes to this nuttery. These things are demonic entities in the flesh in every way possible. You look at all these different ways that they're so much worse than all other creatures, and keep in mind, we haven't even discussed the violence. How much more violent and aggressive they are towards humans than other animals of the earth. It's not even close. So what reason do we have to like dogs? None at all. What reasons do you have to hate dogs? More than you can name. You can name them, but you got to write it down. Your list will be long. You can't make sense out of being a nutter. I don't want to be a part of anything that I can't make sense out of. To say somebody who's not a member of what I'm a member of. I don't want to explain to them my passion and have them scratching their head or thinking I'm disgusting or out of my mind. You open yourself up for that type of criticism when you're being a nutter. So just don't be a nutter. Okay? It's on its way out. It's a dying fad, right? Our presence, our emergence signals their death. The death of this goofy, nasty, wicked culture. And I'm loving every minute of it. I'm loving it a little too much, to be honest. Right? Shout out to everybody able to join me in this fun live stream. I had fun, a lot of good information. I feel good that I was able to share it with everybody. Mutants out. Yeah, most definitely. Shout out to Soda Pop Jones. My man Dion, ban all dogs in the house. I see. Parasitic Mutant. There we go. Digimon Right. My flat line. What's up, everybody? What y'all doing? This is Friday. It is Friday. Hope y'all plan on doing something fun tonight. Go reward yourself. It was a rough week, at least for me. A long work week. I'm going to soak up my freedom. Serena, my man Charles D. Curry in the house. Jubilant Vein. All right. It's a slick name. And anyone else, we hate dogs. BK Born. Shout out to everybody up in here. All the members. Marquise Davis. Mr. Payne in the house. Annabelle. I hope y'all found this information helpful. And please try your best to memorize as much as you possibly can. Pretty soon, you're going to be a walking weapon. And a dog lover will make a big mistake if they try to test you and question anything about your anti-dog lifestyle. Okay? I feel good. I want us to be a group of people that don't nobody mess with. And they're not going to mess with us. So enjoy yourself and stay dog free. All right. I hope none of you have to lay your eyes on a worthless mutt this weekend. And I hope to see you all back on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.